The Strength in Our Scars, by Bianca Sparacino. Introduction. There are moments in life that feel final. A door closing. A car driving away for the last time. The silence on the other end of the phone when you know there's nothing left to say. Goodbye. It's a strange word, isn't it? We're told it's an ending, a finish line we have to cross to move on. But the author of the book we're exploring today knows something deeper. She knows that you can't just unlove someone. You can't just scrub their scent from your pillowcases, or unlearn the sound of their laugh, or forget what it felt like to be so completely immersed in the hope of another human being. People, she says, never truly stay gone. They show up on street corners, in familiar songs, in the ghosted memory that still holds its shape on one side of your bed. That person still occupies so much of the space within your chest, even when they are physically gone. Goodbye isn't really goodbye, not for the person left standing in the aftermath of a hurricane they once loved, trying to make sense of a world that suddenly feels empty. If you've ever felt that ache, that quiet confusion that comes after a great loss, then you know the landscape this book inhabits. Today, we're journeying through The Strength in Our Scars, by Bianca Sparacino. This isn't a book in the traditional sense. It has no chapters, no complex theories. Instead, it's something far more rare. It's a companion. A quiet friend for the moments you feel most alone. It's a collection of thoughts, poems, and gentle reminders that has become a quiet phenomenon, a lifeline for hearts navigating the difficult terrain of pain and healing. Bianca Sparacino has emerged as a defining voice for a generation learning to navigate emotions in a world that is both hyper-connected and profoundly isolating. Her work is built on a simple, yet profound belief that there is beauty in the contrast. In the light and the dark days. In the hope and the hurt. In the fall and in the rise. She is a firm believer in the broken, the people who hold their pieces together with belief, who bandage their fear in faith. She writes for the souls who have managed to protect their softness, who have always known, even when it ached the most, that their wounds were healing them. This is the foundational idea of our journey today. That the hardest parts of life are not there to destroy you, but to grow you from the inside. And that is my promise to you. Over the next few minutes, we will walk through the landscape of hurt, not as a place of defeat, but as a training ground for the heart. We will explore the anatomy of heartbreak, the sacred work of rebuilding, the quiet revolution of turning love inward, and the radical courage it takes to remain soft in a hard world. You will begin to see your own story in a new light. You'll understand that the things that have hurt you, the scars you carry, they are not signs of weakness. They are the proof of your survival. They are the source of a strength you may not even know you possess. So take a deep breath. Let's begin. Book Summary. Act 1. The Anatomy of Heartbreak. Every journey of healing begins with a wound. And this book does not shy away from the raw, visceral experience of being hurt. It starts by acknowledging the pain. The world, it tells us, is going to give you beauty, but it will also give you pain. And the greatest lesson is learning to see that this, too, is a gift. A difficult gift, to be sure. It's the kind of gift that leaves you feeling like your own body has become a graveyard for those who could not love it, your heart a cemetery for those who disappeared. But why does this happen? Why do people leave? Often, in our pain, we tell ourselves a simple, cruel story. They left because they didn't love me. But Sparacino offers a more compassionate, more complex truth. She paints a picture of the person who left, not as a villain, but as someone shaped by their own unhealed past. Perhaps, she suggests, they left because when they were 14, they held a broken friend in their arms and feared the day they would have to mourn a last goodbye. Or maybe at 17, they noticed the cold distance between their parents at the dinner table and learned that I love you doesn't always mean I'll stay. Maybe at 21, They read an article about how many people in relationships were still using dating apps, and they convinced themselves that there would always be another, better option just around the corner. Or perhaps at 25, they watched their grandfather waste away after losing the love of his life and finally understood how cruel it was to love something that death could touch. They didn't leave you because they didn't love you, she repeats like a mantra. They left because they never learned that they could be better than their past. They left because they didn't see devotion win. They left you because they didn't love themselves enough to believe that they could be different. This reframing doesn't erase the pain of being left, but it infuses it with a sense of understanding. It shifts the narrative from "I wasn't good enough" to "they weren't ready." This understanding helps us confront another lie we often tell ourselves: the myth of fate. We use fate as an excuse, as an apology for the people we've walked away from. We say, if it was meant to happen, it would have. But the book challenges this passive view. It argues that fate does not exist, only effort does. And that is where we fail each other. If it was meant to happen, we would have made it happen. We would have stayed. We would have fought. This is a hard truth, but it's a powerful one. It takes the story out of the hands of destiny and places it back into the realm of human choice, human effort, and human fallibility. This is the landscape of heartbreak the book lays bare, a place of real pain, caused by real people with their own real, unhealed histories. And it is only by standing in this truth that we can begin the sacred work of rebuilding. Act 2. The sacred work of rebuilding. So, here you are. In the aftermath. The pieces of your life, your heart, your sense of self, scattered. What do? The book's central metaphor is both simple and profound. Don't fear the brokenness. Don't lament what's lost. Instead, splay all those pieces across the kitchen floor. Imagine this act. It is not an act of defeat, it is an act of courage. It is a form of self-archaeology. You are looking at each fragment with intention, the memories, the sacrifices, the inside jokes, the silent promises. You are looking at it all from a place of healing, and you are choosing to create yourself again. This is not about gluing the old you back together. This is about forging someone new from the raw materials of your experience. Shape your spine stronger, your heart bigger, your eyes wider. This is the essence of rebirth. But this process is anything but linear. It is messy, unpredictable, and deeply personal. Sparacino emphasizes that there is no formula for healing. One day you will have the answers clenched in your palms, and the next you will be melted on the kitchen floor, asking the world to be quieter for a while. Some mornings, your scars will ache with a phantom pain. Other mornings, you'll wake up with a surprising lightness, with hope dripping from your fingertips. This oscillation is not a sign of failure, it is the rhythm of your growing, the balancing of the scales within you. Healing can look like anything. It can be sitting in a coffee shop, writing the years from your mind. It can be laughing until you cry with your friends. And sometimes, it's just rest, hiding from the world, letting the inner noise settle into a quiet stillness. The book validates all of these paths. It tells you, whatever your healing looks like today, just allow it to be what it is. Just take care of yourself. In this quiet, often difficult work, we discover a new definition of courage. It isn't always about grand heroic acts. Sometimes, courage is as simple as opening your eyes in the morning when your heart is heavy. Sometimes it's making breakfast without spelling their name in your cereal. Sometimes courage is the way you slowly comb them out of your hair, or hear their voice in public and don't turn your head. Sometimes, your mountain to climb is made up of weekdays and months, of just pushing yourself forward when you want to sink into the past. This is the quiet fight, the dim softness within you that flickers even on your darkest days and reminds you that you are strong, that you are growing, that there is hope. And in this fight, you slowly learn the difference between forgetting and forgiving. Healing isn't about erasing the past. It's about making peace with it. You can finally say you have healed, not when you have forgotten, but when you have forgiven. Forgiveness, the book clarifies, is never about the person who wronged you. It is about learning how to give yourself the closure you seek from others. It's about accepting the things you cannot change and befriending your past rather than making it an enemy. It has always been about you. Act 3. The Inward Turn, Becoming Your Own Home. As you engage in this sacred work of rebuilding, a monumental shift begins to occur. You stop looking outside of yourself for salvation. You realize the person who broke you will not be the one to fix you. That quiet, steady power resides within. This is the inward turn. It's the moment you decide to stop waiting for someone to make you whole. It's the moment you decide to take all of that incredible love, all of that care and attention you have been pouring into others, and you finally, bravely, decide to give it to yourself. This is the process of learning to be your own home. What does that mean? It means you can lose yourself in books, in art, in the haze of new horizons. You can lose yourself in curiosity, in knowledge, in passion. You can and should lose yourself in the world and all it has to teach you. But you must never again lose yourself in another person. You are your own home, and you must never forget that. This means building a rich inner world that can sustain you. It means learning how to be alone without being lonely. How to wake up in the middle of the bed and feel peace, not emptiness. How to make just one cup of coffee and savor it. How to hold your own heart, take up your own space, and confront the voids within you instead of trying to fill them with other people. The ultimate goal of this inward journey is a radical form of self-acceptance. It's a quiet, personal mission. The work is done, the author writes, when they ask you, do you like yourself? And with ruthless confidence, with a certainty that comes from every tender part of who you are, you can answer, yes. Imagine that moment. That is the destination. Not a perfect life, not a life without scars, but a life where you are so profoundly at peace with who you are, flaws, history, and all, that your own validation is all you need. You are in charge of your joy, of your worth. You get to be your own validation. And you learn to be proud of the person you are becoming, even if you aren't exactly where you want to be yet. You learn to fall in love with the process, with the messiness of life and the confusion of it all. Because you finally understand that the love you find within yourself will be yours forever. Act 4. The Strength of a Soft Heart. Having journeyed through the pain, having rebuilt your foundation, and having found a home within yourself, you arrive at the book's most powerful and counterintuitive revelation. True strength lies in choosing to keep your heart soft. The world has a different lesson for us. It teaches that after being hurt, we should build walls. We should become harder, more cynical, less trusting. It's a logical defense mechanism. We guard ourselves from sadness, not realizing that in the process, we have closed ourselves off to all of the happiness the world is trying to give us. Sparacino's message is a courageous rebellion against this hardening. Stay soft, she pleads. Do not let the things that have hurt you turn you into a person you are not. Do not become the kind of person who hurts just because you have been broken. Your heart is a fragile thing that people have not handled with care, but that does not give you permission to turn around and break someone else. Do not let the world make you hard. This is not a passive state, it is an active, ongoing choice. It is the choice to risk your heart. The book is unflinchingly honest about this. You're going to get hurt again. There is no denying that. You will thrust yourself into situations that don't work out, and it will ache. But this is what your fear won't tell you: you're going to survive it. The hurt doesn't last forever, but the what-ifs of a life unlived will haunt you for a lifetime. If you don't take the chance, if you don't risk, you will always be an ocean of questions. And life is too short for that. You are here to risk your heart. Please don't ever forget that. This strength manifests in how you show up in the world. It's about choosing to be the person who cares. The person who makes the effort, who loves without hesitation. The person who bears it all and never shies away from the depth of their feeling or the intensity of their hope. Be the person who makes people feel seen, the person who shows up. Because, as the author states, the world doesn't need any more carelessness or disregard. There is nothing stronger than someone who continues to stay soft in a world that hasn't always been kind to them. This philosophy extends to how you love others. When you care for someone, you must be good to them. You must put your phone down and connect. You must choose them every single day. And if you cannot, you must be brave enough to let them go. Because people who love with everything they have must be set free from a love that is only given in halves. This is the ultimate strength found in our scars. It is not the hardened, calloused strength of something that cannot be broken. It is the resilient, flexible, and profound strength of a heart that has been broken, has healed itself, and has chosen, against all odds, to remain open and capable of giving and receiving love. It is the quiet power of a soul that has walked through the fire and come out not burned, but illuminated. Commentary. There are some books that you read, and there are other books that you feel. The strength in our scars is firmly in that second category. It isn't a complex philosophical text or a step-by-step guide. It's a mirror. It holds up a reflection to our own experiences of heartbreak, of loss, of feeling utterly lost, and in doing so, it does something incredibly powerful. It makes us feel seen. And in feeling seen, we feel less alone. The most profound lesson I take from Bianca Sparacino's work is its quiet rebellion against the modern world's obsession with appearing invincible. We are constantly told to be strong, to be resilient, which too often gets translated into "don't show you're hurting." We curate our lives online to show only the highlights, the wins, the perfect moments. This book is the antidote to that pressure. It gives us permission to be human. It tells us that our cracks are not flaws to be hidden, they are the very places where the light gets in. In an age where we feel pressure to time our text responses to not seem too eager, or to hide our feelings to not seem overly emotional, Sparacino's work is a call for radical vulnerability and authenticity. In a world that often values hardness and cynicism, the call to stay soft is perhaps the most courageous message of all. It reframes vulnerability not as a liability, but as the very source of our strength and our capacity for deep connection. To remain open, to continue to care, to choose love even after experiencing pain, that is an act of defiance. It is choosing to believe in the goodness of the world even when it hasn't always been good to you. It is, in its own quiet way, a revolutionary act. For anyone navigating the difficult transition from adolescence to adulthood, this message is particularly vital. You will get your heart broken. You will face disappointments. You will have moments where you feel like you failed. This book serves as a gentle, unwavering reminder that these experiences are not the end of your story. They are the beginning of your strength. It whispers to you, you are not what you are going through. You are not broken, you are becoming. So, how can we start to live this message today, in our own lives? It doesn't require a grand gesture. It begins with small, quiet acts of self-compassion. First, simply give yourself permission to feel, fully and without judgment. Find a quiet moment and acknowledge one feeling you've been pushing away: sadness, anger, nostalgia. Instead of wrestling with it, just let it be. As the book suggests, reach into yourself and cradle it. Give it a home within you for as long as it needs to stay. This act of gentle acceptance is the first step toward releasing its power over you. Second, practice being your own biggest fan. We are so quick to fight for others, to believe in them with such intensity, but we often forget to fight for ourselves. Take a piece of paper and write down one thing you're proud of yourself for today. It could be for getting out of bed, for finishing a task, or for being kind to a stranger. Don't downplay your own wins. Learn to cheer for yourself. And finally, practice the art of softness as an action. Take one small step to show care in the world. Put your phone away when you're with a friend and truly listen. Send a text to someone letting them know you appreciate them. Choose to be the person who makes the effort. This not only strengthens your connections with others, but it reinforces the choice, within yourself, to remain open and caring. That was A Journey Through the Strength in Our Scars by Bianca Sparacino. We've touched on the main currents of this beautiful work today, but I have to be honest with you. A summary can only ever be a map. It can't be the journey itself. The real magic of a book like this happens in the quiet moments when a single phrase lands in your heart in a way you never expected. This overview is designed to help you see if this is a path worth walking for yourself. If anything we've explored today has resonated, if you felt a flicker of recognition in these words, I encourage you to pick up a copy. Reading it isn't just about gathering information. It's an experience that can genuinely and gently change the way you see yourself and the beautiful, messy, and ultimately strengthening journey of your own life. You can find a link to the book in the description below. Also, if you found this exploration valuable, it would mean the world if you'd hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. That way, you won't miss our next deep dive into another life-changing book from the billionaire's bookshelf. Let's keep exploring, learning, and growing together.